Welcome back to this week's Motorsport Podcast. I'm Gary.
And I'm Mike.
And we are here to talk about the Formula One Aramco Gran Premio de España.
Love the accent.
Also known as the Spanish Grand Prix.
You've been practicing your Spanish, and I can tell.
Yeah, Duolingo.
It's getting it done.
Does not trip me wrong. Quite an interesting race. I have a lot of thoughts and feelings.
A lot of feelings.
A lot of feelings. I would say the standout feeling is, well, two. One, so excited for Oscar.
Yep.
I love him. He did great. I didn't see him.
You don't see him most of the race.
I saw the start. I saw the finish. Who knows what else Oscar did throughout the rest.
Yeah. A dominant victory again.
Dominant victory. Yeah. I didn't see it other than the end. What I did see was the return of Max's temper tantrums. And I will say he had me liking him for a hot minute last week.
I was going to say, you were starting a fan club last week.
That is past.
Yeah.
He confirmed in that moment everything I've ever thought about Max. Everything. He is entitled. He's never going to come on this podcast. It drives me because every moment was flashing in my head, like brake testing Lewis, driving over Lewis. He's crashed into Georgia Miller, and he's always like, there's always an excuse. Mm-hmm. And it's like, no, you are a brat about it. You lash out and crash into somebody. I don't think a 10-second penalty was enough.
No. I've been reading a lot about this crash and people's responses to it and seeing what other commentators are saying and what fans are saying. And he's getting compared a lot to Michael Schumacher and his, I guess, fiery personality and driving style. And then I'm seeing a lot of not strong enough. He should have been black flagged.
Yeah, absolutely, he should have been.
Yeah.
Because the way I look at it is, okay, I understand these are split-second decisions. Your adrenaline is pumping. It's high speed. I get that. But at the end of the day, they are driving at such high speeds. And we've seen horrific accidents. We've seen cars explode when they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Anything could have happened. Like, I get he thinks in his mind he's just tapping George or whatever. But that can have like severe consequences. And I don't think the FIA did enough to dissuade him from doing it in the future.
No, and I think what was most disturbing about it is he waits for George. Like he comes off the gas.
Yeah.
Like he brakes a little bit earlier into the corner.
It's totally
making
deliberate.
It look like he's going to let George go by, which is what, GP has said, let him pass.
Mm-hmm.
And he backs off, making it seem like he's going to.
Yeah.
And then says, nah.
Yeah.
And hits him.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he didn't come out and say it was deliberate.
No, but he said I shouldn't have done it. So that's, I mean,
it's as much of an admission as I think you're going to get from him.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's more of an admission than we've ever had from Max.
Yeah.
So I just don't think it has any place in motorsport. And I am happy that he is 1 point away from a race ban because I think he deserves it. I think he absolutely deserves it. And I think he needs to change his approach. And there is being aggressive and wanting a win and fighting for championships.
Yep.
And then there is just being reckless. And I think he has proven time and time again that he is reckless.
Yeah, and I think what we'll see in the coming races is we're going to see Oscar goad him into a penalty to make sure that he gets that race ban and essentially takes him out of the championship fight.
I think Oscar's going to stay away from him. I think he doesn't want to get tangled up in that nonsense. I kind of also think that's like Lewis was just like, whatever, Nico, you go. Yeah. Like, I do not want to get wrapped up into this. Like, I have been there. I have tangled with Max of 2021
Yeah.
and I'm not interested in it. Because what are you fighting over?
I think that's what's so wild is that this wasn't, a championship deciding race.
No.
This is for
P3 at best.
at most
because
P3.
you are on hards and you were all over the place, have zero control. Like he was angry. Okay, so what happened was Mercedes had another reliability issue,
Which
crazy.
I mean, that could be a whole other episode itself.
Right? Like
This is
what has
wild
happened? I've
that-
never seen this. So Kimmy drove into the gravel. They had to have safety car, which caused all of this. So everybody pitted. Everybody put on new tires. Max had already done a 3-stop. So this was his 4th stop.
Yeah.
And they had nothing left but hards, which was not the tire for this weekend.
His confusion.
Or 5 laps left.
Like his confusion when he's like, what tires are we on?
Yeah.
And they're like, hards. And I think you hear it in his voice. He's like, why?
Well, because
would
he
we put on
knows.
hards?
And so, and for the amount of like laps left, like it was just like he was never, that was not going to work.
Yeah, he was going to drop off compared to everybody else.
So he was already, that angered him.
Yeah.
And then he had no grip, further enraged him. Then he had a little bit of a entanglement with Charles and George.
Yeah, first was Charles. He thinks Charles runs into him, which maybe the lightest of taps, but a racing incident.
Yeah.
Like he clearly isn't.
He's not pulling a Max.
Yeah, he's not
Yeah.
attacking him.
Yeah.
And then, a slight incident with George. And that's when he loses it.
Yeah. Well, because he was already just spiraling at that point.
Yeah.
So I think like but I think at that point, they're all like, get away from Max. Because they know how he is.
They know what he's like.
Yeah. And I feel like everybody knew he was on hards. And it's just like, oh my God, like this guy's a liability. Like let's get away from him. And honestly, I feel like that's why I honestly feel like Lewis was like, you go Nico.
Yeah.
You take one for the team.
Just
And they-
expecting
Well, because
another
like,
incident.
because you can see he is just all over the place.
Yeah.
And it's like, is he going to crash? Is he going to crash into you? Is he going to like, and Lewis knows.
Yeah.
And Nico's like, yes.
But I mean, how great for Nico.
Yeah. So he hasn't finished P5 since the 20. Yeah, no, I want you to guess.
Oh, man. 2017.
Close. It was the 2018 German Grand Prix where he finished 5th
Wow.
for Renault.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a long time coming.
It's been a long time. So he probably celebrated like he won last night.
Oh, absolutely. He was into the cups last night. He was having a great time partying hard.
Yeah. And like, so of course, like, I mean, he finished P6 and then Max had the 10-second penalty. So everybody jumped up and
Yes.
Max went from 5th to 10th.
10th.
Which probably made him even angrier.
And then when he finds out the FIA releases their thing saying that he did not need to concede the place to George, I can only imagine the rage spiral he went down.
Yeah.
I was really hoping at the end of the race when after he had pulled in, you saw him storm off. I was really hoping the cameras were going to follow him.
Right.
Because I was expecting him to go and punch someone.
No, because they're like, don't follow him because he's going to punch you.
Yeah. It was reminiscent of Schumacher at the end of the race or,
Yeah.
storming
Storming over to go hit somebody.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like it was wild. But I don't think it has any place in sports in general.
No, and going back to, you're saying that the penalty wasn't enough. So when I watched that, it made me think of, as I said, the comparison to Schumacher, it's accurate because he's done this.
Yeah.
Right? You have the 94 incident where he crashes into Damon Hill.
Yeah. What did he
Essentially
get
on
for that?
purpose. So for that, he doesn't really get much of a penalty because they couldn't prove that it was on purpose.
Okay.
Okay. They didn't deem it to be on purpose. But it did secure him his championship that year. So last race of the season, pretty high stakes. But then there's the 1997 crash with Jacques Villeneuve, where FIA ruled it was intentional. So not only does he get disqualified from the race, he then loses his championship ranking for that year.
Oh.
So he would have finished. So after that race, after that crash, Villeneuve wins the title.
Yeah.
Schumacher would have finished second. They strip that of him.
Oh. Good for them, though.
Right?
Right.
That is the last time Williams won a championship because Schumacher intentionally crashed into Villeneuve and he gets DQ'd.
But I think that that's the right approach.
Yeah.
Right?
That's like
you
a stiff penalty.
You could kill somebody
Yeah.
doing this. And like I get people are going to be like, it was lower speed. They're still traveling at a very high rate of speed. And I mean, look at Roman Grosjean crashing into that wall and the whole car exploded.
Yeah. Breaks in half. And
these things happen, right? Like anything could have happened. Like just because you have the halo doesn't mean you're protected against anything.
Yeah.
So I just think that they really should have done more. And hopefully, because Max will do this again. Like, he will.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Will it happen in the next 30 days?
Right.
Right.
But I hope they take a more serious approach to it going forward. And I really hope other team principals.
I think there's going to be some
encourage.
strong words from the various teams talking about his driving style and what the FIA has let him get away with.
Absolutely. It's inexcusable.
Yeah. I do want to make a quick comparison to Vettel versus Hamilton 2017 Azerbaijan, where under safety car, Vettel believes Lewis brake tests him.
Yeah.
And he comes up next to him and gives him a little wheel-to-wheel nudge.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember that, yeah.
Clearly intentional. And Lewis is like, hit me. So in that incident, Vettel gets a 10-second stop-and-go penalty, but is also forced to attend an FIA behavior session.
Yeah, like where is this?
So I think they're going to have to make Max go to anger management or
for
something.
like a little like love tap.
Yeah. Under safety car.
Under safety car, yeah.
Wheel to wheel.
Which is probably why, because it was under safety car too, that like it was probably a harsher penalty. But apply all of that, and it's like that does not even stack up to what you gave to Max. You gave more to Kevin Magnussen last year.
Oh, yeah.
For everything.
Yeah, for defending hard.
If Kevin looked at you, you gave him a 10-second penalty. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems as though it was an unfair penalty, like just not enough. It didn't match the severity of what he did because there was clear intention behind it.
Absolutely.
And as you say, that's where the real rub is what's he going to do next? He doesn't have remorse for it. He didn't apologize for doing it.
No.
He acknowledged that what he did was wrong, but he didn't say, I'm sorry. He didn't say, sorry, George.
No. Well, he hates George.
Well, yeah.
I will say it's good that it happened to George. Not that I don't hope for ill will against George, but Toto is very outspoken.
Yeah.
And Toto will advocate for George and then the other drivers on the grid.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what though? It'll be interesting to see because like he wants Max so desperately. Like, will he say anything? Because if it was any other driver, he would.
Yeah.
He wouldn't let it slide. But yeah, like you can't behave like that.
I did laugh when they were in the cool down room and you see the
Lando.
top three drivers watching that incident.
Yeah.
Lando's face just of shock, and then he says, I've done that in Mario Kart.
Right. Yeah. It's funny, it's always interesting because like Lando's always very careful because him and Max are friends.
Yeah.
I don't know. And nobody wants to get on Max's bad side too.
No. I was surprised with how calm George seemed in his post-race interview when he was talking about the incident with Max. He didn't seem... he was clearly angry, but not fuming.
Right.
And I was expecting him to be angrier. But I think you see him, he's like, this is what Max does. I told you guys last year.
Yeah.
He does it on purpose. This is what he does. You let him get away with it. Here it is again.
Well, because what else are you going to do? And it's like, it's over P4.
Yeah.
Not that like there's great points associated with P4, but it's like, it's over P4.
Yeah, and he obviously would have been angrier had he not finished.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
You know, George
and like
said,
he might not have, because
yeah,
he's lucky that he had so few laps left. It would have absolutely impacted his performance longer.
yeah.
So Nico Rosberg said,
Your other favorite driver.
yeah, there's a list of them. That was horrible. You need to black flag Max. I'm surprised it wasn't Rolf Schumacher, because I feel like he's outspoken about literally everybody.
He does seem to be pretty outspoken, yeah.
But like, interesting. And like, so there's 2 quotes from Nico Rosberg that he's been a busy guy this week. But I agree with it. Like, and I think like things became very heated between Nico and Lewis
Right.
in Nico's championship year. But it never turned into anything like this.
No.
It
Yeah.
like,
The most dramatic was a hat throw in the cool down room.
it's funny.
You see, that's where the difference is between Lewis and Max
Yeah.
and other drivers as well. For like Oscar as well, I think is a great
Yeah.
example of it.
They have composure.
Composure.
Yeah.
As angry as you might be, as fuming as you might be, as filled with adrenaline and chaotic as it might have been, they know how to
Restrain
themselves to not purposefully crash
Verstappen.
or start a fight. It's wild.
Yeah. But it's not going to change because he doesn't care. He will either leave it and let him continue with this,
Yeah.
or they'll apply stricter penalties and he'll just leave F1.
Yeah. I mean, he did just, it was released that he got his platinum license, which essentially allows him to race in other formats without going through, getting different licenses. And it's something that you apparently have to request. So I think he's setting himself up
Yeah, he wants to be
to
done.
go into other series. So yeah, I mean, could it be the end of Max Verstappen?
I sure hope so. I've had enough of him. Listen, I would say, is a certain personality. He was also raised by Jos Verstappen. Yeah. So like, I think everyone knows that this is Max. The FIA is going to do nothing about it. And they're all just trying to stay alive out there around him.
You're going to see a wider berth from now on.
Yeah, right? Like, it was just like last year when he would like try to like run Lando off the road.
Yeah.
In his rage like attacks. And like Lando, I think, made excuses for it from afar before because it was never directed at him. And then he was like, oh shit. Like now I'm experiencing
He's coming after
this.
Me.
Yeah. And it's like, this is what he does. And like we talked about it like a few episodes ago. That first turn, that is like a signature Max.
Yeah.
He's never going to make it. And he's like, it's just ridiculous. Like, listen, he has talent, but I think part of what has taken him to the point in his career is that he does things that shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, they are allowed.
Yeah. I think
it's condoned cheating.
This one is the most egregious out of all the ones he's done because it was
driving over
intent.
Lewis.
But that was so while yes, he got a penalty for that and that was a bad crash. That wasn't a purposeful
yes, it was.
turn into him.
Yes, it was.
He
watched the video.
I've watched the video many times. He doesn't steer into him, right? It's not like when George was going by Valtteri and you watch him turn the wheel and then yell, "He hit me." This was Max drove into him purposefully.
I wonder if Valtteri was like, ha ha ha.
Now you see what it's like. Yeah, that's why this one to me is worse than all the others.
I mean, someone should make a montage of all of those. And
I'm sure it's out there.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, moving along. Talking about my boy, Nico Rosberg, because he was an active one. So essentially, so this won't be a direct quote, but if you've listened to this podcast, if not, I have been very vocal about my criticism of Lando Norris. While I think he is a somewhat talented driver, I think he struggles too much from like a psychological standpoint, and that's what's holding him back.
Yeah.
I've made the recommendations that he needs a sports therapist.
You volunteered
I
your
volunteered
services?
myself
Yep.
while not qualified. Nico said that's what he needs. He needs, basically a sports psychologist to come in and help him. And he said that's what he did in his championship year to win it, because he had a lot of like mental holdbacks.
Yeah.
And I just felt validated in that moment, because I was like, see, I called it. It's all just mental.
You're exactly right.
And then, like, you know what? Actually, kudos to Lando for finishing second, because I didn't think he was going to after his like abysmal start. I was like, oh, he's done. There's no coming back for him. But he did rally and like get it together.
Yep.
Enough for second, which I did not think was going to happen.
No. With that, right after the start, was Charles' overtake on turn 1.
Yeah.
I think it's lost in the chaos of this weekend, but that's highlight reel material.
Yeah. There was a lot in that first lap that happened. Just like, it was a lot to look at.
I mean, Hulkenberg somehow made up 5 places.
Yeah, which I don't think we never really got a clear answer on that.
No. There was no consistent replay of how it happened.
No.
It showed him going
off track.
Yeah.
And then there was no action.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know if they were just too busy looking at everything else, that they were like, he's not going to stay up there because he's in a Sauber. So like, just let him have this moment.
Let him have this moment.
And then lo and behold.
Speaking of moments, Fernando Alonso.
Yeah.
What a
in
day.
In the points. He was so scrappy.
Yeah.
He was like, get out of my way. I know that he is not a Liam Lawson fan either. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be epic. It wasn't nearly as contentious as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
There was like that whole moment with Liam Lawson and Ollie Behrman not getting out of anyone's way despite the blue flags.
Yeah, like who chooses when the blue flags have been waved and someone's coming up behind you? This is my chance to overtake right now to get in the leading car's ways.
I don't know.
Wild. I'm amazed he didn't get a penalty.
Right? How did nothing come of that? Because they held them up severely.
Yeah. They were straight up in the way.
Yeah. Like, Lando was like, ooh, which way do I go? Like, it was awkward to watch. I'm surprised. Did we even hear anything from Lando for that? I don't remember hearing a radio message. I remember hearing Max.
Yeah, Max was upset.
But I don't remember Lando. But like, that was ridiculous, because if I was Lando, I would have been pissed, because they totally held him up, and like, it was dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, but then I saw that a few times from Liam, where I'm just like, what are you thinking? Like, you're just getting in the way.
You get that a lot with him, though. It's a consistent thing with him, is he does these maneuvers or attempts these moves where you just wonder, why are you doing it like that there?
In this moment. Why are you trying to be a hero?
What are you doing?
You're trying to be a hero, and then you crash into somebody.
Yeah.
Is what he does.
Yeah,
like, he chooses his hero moments incorrectly.
Continue to not be a fan.
Yes. Yeah. That will not change.
No. But Fernando, in the points, he was very assertive in his driving.
I was very happy for him.
A lot of, round the outside overtakes from him, which I thought was very exciting to see.
Yeah, those were good.
I do want to give some kudos again to Isaac Hadjar.
He just continues to deliver.
Being the second Red Bull driver, really, right? He's getting more points more consistently than anyone else.
Yeah.
And one thing I do hope is when Max gets another penalty in the next 30 days.
Ooh, they move Isaac in there.
Is Isaac gets the chance
Can you imagine if he won?
to drive the Red Bull to see where he can perform. I would love to see it.
That would be so good.
Yeah. Because he's going to outperform Yuki.
Oh, absolutely. So I want to talk about the love of my life, Lewis Hamilton.
Okay.
So I was reading from Juan Pablo Montoya.
Mm-hmm.
He said, at some point, Lewis is going to have to get angry and suddenly ask for a change of engineers or something. If he does, it would make the people around him think, do I work with Lewis? Will he take me out? And that's exactly what he needs right now. The engineer's attitude of not answering the radio isn't acceptable. You have to be more professional than that. A person like that isn't healthy for him, for the team, or for anyone personally. If I were with Ferrari, I would have pulled Adami's ears and said, you do that again and you'll be working at a desk in the office. Ooh. We're still not interested. Do you understand? Discuss.
Yeah.
I think that guy is a dick. Like, would you hear the exchange? Okay, so my thought is Lewis, his composure is admirable.
Yeah.
Like, I know he has his spicy moments. If that was Max would be losing his shit on this guy.
He'd be screaming.
Yeah. And then he would be a Schumacher running after the guy, like posters. Like, even Charles' engineer, I don't know what it is about these Ferrari engineers. It's mind blowing. And I feel like the way they handle everything.
Yeah.
I think that's what's holding Ferrari back. I don't think they have the best car this year, but I think they have to do like an overhaul of personnel.
It must be exceptionally frustrating for Lewis going from 12 years with Bono.
Yeah.
And then moving to this where he asks a question, he gets a weird answer to another question that he didn't ask.
Yeah.
He asks the question again and like clarifies what he's looking for.
And then gets
sometimes why he's looking for the information. And gets another answer to another question that he didn't ask.
But the same thing happens to Charles too.
Absolutely.
Different guy.
Yeah.
Like, is it part of the Ferrari playbook? Like, if faced with these difficult questions, respond in this weird...
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I think, like, I don't know. I don't know. It's like a language barrier or what it is, but there seems to be this huge disconnect. And it's like Ferrari, I feel like, is the only team that openly, like, announces they've got like 40 plans. Like, it's like plan K. Yeah. Like, what?
It's wild.
And like, it has to be super frustrating. Like, get better race engineers and that will solve a huge part of your problem.
What puzzles me is they spent all this money to get Lewis in.
Yeah.
And this is what you're giving him.
Yeah.
I don't know what Bono's contract looks like.
Well, he got promoted to like the senior race director or whatever.
Yeah, I know. But
yeah, right?
You're trying to tell me that Ferrari couldn't convince Bono to continue with the relationship he's had for 12 years?
Yeah, right now he's babysitting Kimi.
Yeah. He has gone from Schumacher to Lewis to a 17-year-old kid driving his first race.
Yeah.
I mean, Kimi lucked out and has the best possible engineer with the most information that anyone has ever had.
Yeah.
But from Bono, like, I would be furious and frustrated with that.
If you're Bono?
Yeah. You are wasting
Well, do you want to work
talents.
with George? Well, no, but I would say like they're developing, like
he must believe that Kimi is the next Lewis.
Yeah, like I think he feels as though he's very talented, and I think he's probably looking forward to the development aspect, right?
Yeah.
Like he has the opportunity to work with somebody from like the inception of his career. And you can, I mean, Bono's always been, I think, like very gentle with Lewis.
But he knows what he needs.
Absolutely. He totally does. And like the guy at Ferrari is like, I know how to piss this guy off.
Yeah, let me stick with that plan. That's plan A, and he's sticking with it.
Yeah. Like, But even if he was talking to Fernando, like I think about like so many other people that if they were on the receiving end of this, I don't understand it.
No, it's very bizarre. But speaking of lineup changes at Ferrari, a lot of rumors this past week that Christian Horner wants to go to Ferrari, and
I don't see how that is even possible. Like, can you imagine Charles and Lewis working with Christian Horner?
No.
Not a chance.
No. Christian Horner did apparently dismiss the rumors this weekend, saying it is completely not true. I'm 100% dedicated to Red Bull.
For now, until they get rid of him.
Yeah. I don't think that would be a good move on Ferrari's part. Right. Even if Christian Horner got fired tomorrow and Ferrari could get him, that seems like a step backwards to me.
I think Fred's fine.
I agree.
He's done enough. Like
I think it's sheer rumor mill that.
Yeah, it's people being bored.
Yeah.
So I saw an interesting stat. So McLaren drivers with 8 in a row podiums. Care to guess?
I mean, it's going to be the greats. You're going to have your Senna. Mm-hmm. You're going to have your Lewis.
Oh, sorry, there's 3.
It's going to be Senna, Lewis, and now Oscar.
Yeah, my boy Oscar.
He is solidifying a name, right? If he continues on, he's going to get the championship this year to get his first, and I think it'll be the first of
many.
Several.
Yeah.
We could see a 3-4 in a row if it continues on.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens in 2026, right? Because things are going to change. Yeah. So I'm hopeful for his sake he's able to maintain this.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like he probably wishes he had more of a comfortable lead than he does, but I think that will come. I'm interested to see what happens in Canada.
Yep.
Lewis is really good at that track.
Lewis's first win.
Yeah. I think Mercedes will have a strong showing.
Yeah.
Because that car tends to do better in the cooler weather. I'm interested to see what happens.
Speaking of Canadians, your favorite driver, Lance Stroll.
Yeah. I was like, where is this going? Will he drive? And they apparently don't have a reserve driver that I think they can even make it because...
So I heard, I know where you're going with this. So Felipe Drugovich...
Good, because I forgot all of it.
The other guy, I can't remember his name, they were committed to Le Mans.
Yeah.
But apparently Drugovich has said he will prioritize F1 over Le Mans. Really?
I mean, career-wise, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's thinking if I perform well and Lance has to be gone for several weeks, I can get multiple races here, get a proper seat. Yeah,
I mean, there's speculation that this has to do with the brakes, like the fractures that he had last year in his was it last year? I think it was last year, beginning of the season when he crashed his bike.
Yeah, his preseason brakes.
No, it was during the season, remember?
Oh.
I think it's probably something that he's been dealing with for a while. And is this it? Apparently he has to have additional procedures done. I don't know what that entails, but
well, I mean, Robert Kubica is a good example of...
I don't think that's the same thing.
I mean, his hand almost was chopped off.
His hand was severed, and you're going to compare that to Lance
to a broken wrist
mountain bike. I don't think that's comparable, but good try. But I mean, think about how much stress their wrists are put under.
Yeah.
In a race, is he going to be able to continue on? Is this the end of Lance?
I don't know. It would be very interesting to see what would happen to Aston Martin if Lance can't drive anymore. How much, what would Lawrence Stroll's next steps be?
I think he still wants to win a championship. I think he's
poured so much in.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like deep down he has to realize that Lance is not going to win a championship.
I don't know.
But who knows?
In the end, it's harsh to say, but it would be to Aston Martin's benefit if he can't continue.
I mean, Newey's had positive things to say about Lance.
Yeah. he sure did.
He likes his paycheck.
Yeah. I mean,
we'll see. I'm like, I mean, I don't wish ill will upon Lance.
No,
Hopefully
of course
he's
not.
okay. And it's gotta be horrible. Like I mean, rushing an injury is in no one's best interest. And it's too bad because I feel like he should have just taken the time off last year and rehabbed it properly, but it doesn't. Maybe it's an entirely different issue. Maybe it's completely unrelated. But
unrelated, yeah.
hopefully he's okay. Anything else you would like to chat about?
The only thing I want to talk about is Lando Norris walking into a wall.
Oh my God, that made my life. That made my life. When I saw that video, I laughed, I smiled.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It's good times for everybody.
Yep. He's just, Lando. I thought you said you were going to say something that was going to rile me up. That doesn't happen.
Oh, that was just the comparing Max to Schumacher.
Oh, why? Because I think that like they're not at all comparable.
Yeah.
I think temper wise they are.
Yeah.
I saw this, it was like Toto talking to somebody, and he was basically saying like all of the greats have that like kind of rage inside of them, and they have this like me against the world mentality, which was like obviously like Schumacher was like that, like Senna was like that.
Yeah.
He's saying Max is like that, which I agree. Like they all share that commonality, right? Like it's part of what makes them great. And I recognize Max's talent. I understand, like I'm not saying he's a bad driver. I just think that like it would be interesting to see if he was able to harness that a little bit better, how much more successful he could be.
Right.
I get it. He's won 4 championships. I'm not trying to say like he's like Lance Stroll. like, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I think like how many opportunities has he missed out on because he's let his like emotions get the better
of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a fine line, right? Because like being able to harness it and like channel it into something and then just letting it overcome. So like, whereas like Lando turtles in and like is like, wow, poor Lando. Max like becomes rage filled, and like you kind of need to be somewhere in the middle, right? Like you need to be able to harness that into something productive versus the rage is taking me out or the sadness is taking me out.
Yeah.
My 2 favorite boys.
Yeah. And then you got Oscar in the middle, keeping his composure.
Yeah, like part of me thinks Oscar's too calm about things, but maybe he gets really, maybe it's just the Australian in him that like he is fiery, but he just comes across so like happy.
Yeah.
Because I do think that, I mean, he obviously has that fighting spirit, right? And he's scrappy and whatever else. He just doesn't show it.
Instead of yelling and screaming or crying, he
just gets to work.
And maybe says something funny about it.
Yeah.
I think that's more the Australian way, is he makes a joke about it.
Yeah.
While getting the job done.
Have you seen those like memes where it's like Oscar's many emotions and it's the same picture over and over again, and it's like happy Oscar, sad Oscar, mad Oscar. Yeah, I can't relate to that approach. I wish I could. I wish I was just a lot more calm about life, but I can't. So
yeah.
Like I see Lewis, and like Lewis is very composed.
Yes.
But then he also has that like fiery side to him that you see come out. And I feel like Oscar maybe needs that a little bit more.
We haven't seen it yet. Yeah, maybe we will.
Yeah.
Well, Canada next.
Yep.
See what happens.
Oscar for the win.
Yeah, it's a safe bet.
I would just like to say I liked Oscar.
You liked Oscar before it was cool.
Before you liked Oscar.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so thank you for tuning in to this week's Motorsport Podcast. We will be back. Is it next week?
No, there's a break now.
Oh, well, we'll be back to talk about something else.
Yeah, we'll be back next week.
Bye. Motorsport Podcast is a Vorbeck Media production. Follow us on Instagram at Motorsport Pod. You can listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or our YouTube page, Motorsport Pod. Bye.